Okay, are you ready to learn your first guitar chord? Let's dive right in here. What we're going to do is finger 2, your middle finger, is going to land on string 5, fret 2. So you go fret 1, fret 2 is right there, and then it's the second string from the low string down here. We count strings 1 to 6 like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to put finger 2 down there. Next, finger 3, your ring finger, is going to land right underneath that, also on fret 2. And then just give it a strum. You can use your thumb, or if you're using a pick, you could use a pick or your index finger and just strum through. You're simply going to put your fingers on those strings, both on fret 2, string 5 and string 4, and apply a little bit of pressure and strum. How does that sound? Are you able to hear crystal clear notes? I hope you can. So let's talk a little bit about what the E minor chord really is. E minor contains the notes E, G, and B. And that means that as we put our fingers down on the fretboard, we're manipulating the strings so that every single note that we're hearing is E, G, or B. So when I pluck this low E string, that's an E. When I put finger 2 on the A string, fret 2, that's a B. When I put finger 3 down on the D string, that's another E. So string 6 and strings 4 are identical. And then when we play the G string open, that's the G, that's the third of the chord. Then we go down, there's another B, that's the same pitch as string 5. And then the high E. So that means that the E minor chord has 3 E's in it. A low E, a middle E, and a high E. 3 octaves. So this one chord, even though it's pretty simple, has a huge sound. It's a really, really beautiful chord, and it might not be the most common chord that you'll find in songs, but it's a really, really easy chord. It's a great place to get started. So let's talk about a little bit of troubleshooting with this chord. How do we know if this chord is sounding good or not? Well, what we're going to do, and this is true for every single chord that we play, we're going to want to isolate each string. Use your thumb or a pick and just play each string and see if it rings out crystal clear. In some cases, you might hear something more like this. If you hear a buzz, that probably means you're not quite putting enough pressure down, so just give it a little extra squeeze. I know at first you're probably like, oh my gosh, I'm applying so much pressure already. I promise you, you'll build up the muscles and the finger pain will go away really, really quickly. But if you hear that little buzz sound, this dead note or kind of rasp, that either means that you're not putting enough pressure down. Sometimes that can also mean that your finger is actually covering the fret, which we don't want. We really want it to be kind of in the middle, somewhat closer to the end of the fret, but really in kind of right smack dab in the middle of the fret is perfect for the E minor chord. Another common issue you might find, a lot of times when people are first learning, especially if you're playing on a steel string guitar, a guitar with a thinner neck, you might find that playing the G string gets muted as well. Sometimes when people are first learning, if your thumb is really high up, your finger might be collapsing. Your finger 3, your ring finger, might actually be collapsing onto the G string. As you can see, I'm actually even muting 2 strings there by accident. So what we can do is lower the thumb a little bit. What we need is we need leverage. We need enough leverage so that that G string is able to ring. Our finger 3 is a bulky finger. It's an awkward finger. I call it the problem child finger. We're going to come across finger 3 issues in a lot of our playing. So if you're really not able to get it sounding perfect just yet, don't worry, you're not alone. Finger 3 is a problem child finger that we will be coming back to again and again. But that is essentially it. That is our E minor chord. Again, this is all happening on fret 2. We got finger 2 on string 5, fret 2, finger 3 right below it on string 4, fret 2. So let's actually practice strumming this E minor chord and really get the feel for it. If you're new to strumming, you can still anchor your thumb onto string 6, the low E string, just to get that extra support. So let's start off really, really slowly, just doing 8 downstrokes. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. Similar to when finger 3 can sometimes mute that G string, you might also want to watch out for finger 2 possibly being too high up on the string and blocking string 6. That's kind of an unusual problem, but hey, some people might have big hands, and again, especially if you're playing on a steel string guitar that has a thinner neck, you know, I've got the luxury of this nice nylon string guitar, thicker neck there. I have a lot of room to kind of find the right spacing, but just watch out for that. And again, if it's happening to you, no worries. I know it's a little bit cramped feeling. Check that thumb, try to get it a little bit further down the neck, not like super low and out to the side or anything like that, just a little bit more in the middle. We almost want to just act like we're pinching, just giving a little bit of pressure there. However, I also don't want you to go too far with it. Don't be pushing the wrist. You never want to see your wrist, your left wrist, going beyond the neck of the guitar. I actually feel the strain in my back and my shoulders just doing that. So watch out for that as well. We're, not this, just somewhere right in the middle. And if you're feeling like it's really painful, it's a lot of pressure, give it a couple strums. 1, 2, 3, 4, and relax. You can lift fully off the strings and practice putting your fingers right down on the strings gently, or you can just leave your fingers down on the strings without even putting any pressure down, and then just practice a small little squeeze. Exhale, and push down. Inhale, lift up, exhale, and just apply a little bit of pressure, just enough to where the fingers are touching the strings down onto the fretboard. If you're not breathing when you play, you're actually going to have a ton of trouble. This is another recurring theme we'll talk about throughout this course. But when you hold your breath in, if you're exasperated and really, really tight and tense, when you're practicing, you're actually going to be building in that habit of tension as you play. So then every time you're playing, you're going to not be breathing, not feel relaxed, and carry tension in your body. So I want to also get that across. You're not playing for anyone right away. This is just for you. We want to develop really healthy, really good habits. And the E minor chord, a very chill, very relaxed chord, it's the perfect one to practice that with. All right, you did it. You played your first guitar chord, E minor. How does it feel? Maybe a little bit painful. That's okay. That's to be expected. I mean, it is your first time doing this. Your fingers are like, what the heck is this? But hopefully it's not so bad. And I promise you that this gets a lot easier over time. Remember, you can always take those little breaks like we talked about. You can kind of pulse your hand. Make sure you're exhaling. The exhale goes a long way. So keep practicing that E minor chord. Isolate each string. See if you can get it as clean as possible, and then get ready to move on to the next chord.